Welcome, everyone. Welcome to, I guess, what amounts to the trial of Double Dragon 3. We've, uh, we've played some Double Dragon games on the stream before. A lot of you have been around for those, right? We kind of did some of them a little bit earlier in the life of the stream, couple few months ago, right? I think we'd all probably agree that Double Dragons 1 and 2 are pretty good games to varying degrees, and depends on the version and things like that. But we have the old argument that people remember the NES ports of Double Dragon 1 and 2 more than they do the arcade versions and all that stuff. I won't drag out those arguments again. I presented them to you before, and I don't think anyone really argued with me too much. But I guess the series has a few black sheeps, honestly. The Double Dragon series notably littered with games that are not good. But this was the first not, well, by popular opinion, not good Double Dragon, right? Double Dragon 3. And it doesn't matter if you talk about the arcade version or the NES game. Either way, kind of people's opinions were the same for different reasons because they're very different games. We're going to look at both of them here tonight, and we're going to let's try and put our biases aside and all the things we've heard aside and really look at both versions of Double Dragon 3 and ask ourselves, is this really as bad as we've been told it was for all these years? So that is our mission, and I think my gain is not correct. Hold on a second. Oh, audio. Let's see here. Sorry, I was just looking at some numbers. And yes, input gain. This should be about right. There we go. Good Lord. Starlight Midori Land, you're gonna sit there and not tell me that I was low? Come on. No, I'm kidding. Wavelink, also a notable not good piece of software. Version 2.0 is much better, I will admit, but it randomly turns things off and does things that it is not supposed to do, like adjust my gain. So that's fun. I think we're all good here, though. We got all the effects on. We got the gain up to the right amount. Hi, Red Spectra. Lurk away. We are about to get started with the arcade version of Double Dragon 3 here. But while you lurk, just think to yourself, is this as bad as everyone says it is? I will do my best to not influence your opinion either way. But okay, let's get to it, shall we? All right. Libra, welcome. I would ask you to ask yourself the same question as you lurk. Think about nothing but Double Dragon 3 as you do your laundry or your cleaning or your homework or whatever it is that you're doing there. Well, you don't actually have to think about nothing but Double Dragon 3. That'd be a lot. All right. So before I start, actually, I'll go ahead and start it, and then I'll explain what's happening here. So let's take a look at the title screen here. We're playing the Japanese version, as you can see. And for both the arcade version and the Famicom version, there's a reason we're selecting the Japanese version. And these versions are very different depending on which one you're talking about. Now, Double Dragon 3 Arcade, we're picking the Japanese version for certain reasons that I'll reveal later, and I'm sure many of you know what they are. There is a very specific... Yes, your head hemorrhaging is probably what happens when you think about nothing but Double Dragon 3. That seems appropriate to me. But what was I saying? The Japanese version actually came out months later than the North American version did. This is a North America first game. And the North America version had something very special about it, which we'll look at very briefly afterward. Yes, Starlight Midori Land's right on it. It had microtransactions, and we'll show you later how those were implemented. We won't gloss over it. But needless to say, anyone who's playing this game for a clear or score or anything like that is going to pick the Japanese version because they stripped all that shit out. No microtransactions, none. It's more a straight up game. They got rid of the little shop, which we'll look at later. It's just a straight playing Double Dragon game. It's not without its jank. Oh boy, is it not without its jank. The sound on this is a little bit weird, so I'll turn it up if I need to, but this game has got some good music. We'll turn it up to about here, and then we'll adjust once we get into the game. So, we're going to put in a credit, and one thing I'm going to pause on here. So, what is this screen? I'm going to pause this here while we talk about this for a second. What is this? This is weird for a Double Dragon game, right? We're getting right into it, and we're not playing as, you know, one-player Billy, two-player Jimmy. What's happening here? Well, this was 1990, so, you know, some time had passed, and we were kind of getting into the more multiplayer, you know, by multiplayer, I mean more than two players, beat 'em up craze, right? Started by games like Konami's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Konami's Crime Fighters, things like this, right? And Double Dragon was riding that wave. And yes, Starlight Midori Land actually points out something very important, I think, that will show itself in gameplay almost immediately once we go into it here in a moment. This was not developed by Technos Japan, who developed both the arcade and NES versions of both Double Dragons 1 and 2. Those were all handled in-house. Double Dragon 3 was a different story. The NES Famicom version was indeed handled by Technos Japan themselves, which we're not there yet. We're going to look at that later. But the arcade version was outsourced to East Technology. Good old East Technology. And boy, oh boy, what a job they did. Yeah, no, you're fine. You are fine, Steven. You have not missed much. We're talking about the history of Double Dragon 3 here. We're playing the Japanese version. We literally just put a credit in, and we've paused at this mysterious screen to ask ourselves, why? Why is this here? And so this is a 3-player simultaneous game, not just 2, 3. And so I guess they thought they needed to do something different with that, right? We've only got Billy and Jimmy up until now, right? That's only 2 players. That's not 3. Who's the third person going to play as Marion? Surely not. We couldn't put Marion in there as a playable character. Of course, they've done that in different games since, but this was 1990, okay? They were not about to do that. So each group is a group of brothers. You see this kanji here says kyodai after each one, which means brothers. So each of our clans here comes with 3 brothers. We've got the Lee brothers. Of course, you all know Billy and Jimmy, but I know that your favorite Lee brother is the 3rd Lee brother, Sonny Lee, right? That's your favorite Lee brother, isn't it? I know it is. You don't even have to tell me. I already know. So you've got the Lee brothers. They're your all-rounders, okay, as you might expect from the Lee brothers. They do everything just fine. They're fast enough. They're strong enough. But we've got some very, very new characters here. Everyone loves Sonny, right? He's the most famous Lee brother. We all know this. To his right, we have the Yukide brothers. It's written in katakana. It's Yukide, but that's spelled Urquidez. Yukide, apparently. They are, I don't remember what nationality they are. They're probably somewhere from Eastern Europe. They're martial artists, and they are the power characters. They're also the characters that basically everyone uses to clear this game because they are the best. And we'll try and show everybody a little bit, but the Yukide will be who I use primarily through this run. Down in our bottom left, we have the Chin brothers. You all might remember Chin Taime, the purple-haired guy from Double Dragon 1 on the NES. Apparently there are 3 of those guys now, and none of them look anything like that guy. And they don't really follow beat-em-up archetypes. They're just kind of their own weird thing. Their moves are real stubby in this. They're kind of the worst team. And lastly, we have the Oyama brothers. I don't think Maki Oyama of, the heavy metal singer is a part of this group, but the Oyama brothers, who are karate fighters, and they're the speed type characters. Your wife's from Eastern Europe, and they do have, yeah, I sometimes am not 100% sure what the pronunciation of them is, and so I'm glad they gave me the katakana in this case. So this is kind of why this screen is here. And I mean, obviously, I could control 3 characters at a time through MAME, but I'm not going to. I don't have other people in the room here with me to do multiplayer, so you will only see 1 character from each of these groups at any point. But, so we're gonna go Yukide.
Mission 1, America.
Mission 1, America. All right, so hold on. Sounds like we need to adjust the sound a little bit because this is some good music. Oh, that's right. Benny the Jet was a factor for these guys, right? Let me hear what this sounds like. Come on. Okay, that sounds pretty good. All right. Because we want to hear the music here, right? And so we've got the standard Double Dragon setup. We've got punch, kick, jump. But, so, sorry I keep pausing this, but it's going to be a lot easier for me to explain this now than when I get started here. Also, Power Records in the background, not Tower Records, Power Records. Remember Tower Records? They still exist in Japan. I don't think they exist anywhere else. Anyway, yeah, so I feel like Double Dragon has a history of having one move that just breaks the game, right? In the first arcade Double Dragon game, you had the elbow, right? You just elbowed everything. You repositioned yourself and you elbowed. In Double Dragon 2 arcade, it was more the back kick, I would say. It wasn't quite as OP as the elbow, but it was still kind of easily our best move in the game for the most part. In this one, it's just a spin kick. So we're going to be doing a lot of spin kicking. Yeah, it is a weapon. It is a weapon shop. That's true. We're going to be doing a lot of spin kick. And look at this movement. Look at how screwed up. And you can kind of go, woo, 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 woo. Hold on. I'm like, why is my spin kick not coming out here? Okay, there's our throw. Hold on, are my buttons? One second, hold on, I want to check my button mapping. Hello, Nappy. I'm just figuring something out here. Oh yeah, what happened to my button mapping? That's weird. All right, I was like, why are my moves not coming out correctly? Okay, I think I took a hit, so we're just gonna reset here and start over. All right. We're gonna go Yukide, of course.
Mission 1.
America. I love the blasé announcer voice too. There we go. So yes, we're gonna be doing a lot of the spin kick. Sometimes I'll get my inputs wrong and it'll be just a standard jumping kick. This is not, you have to kind of hit jump and immediately hit kick afterward to get this to come out. So sometimes my inputs don't, yes, sorry. MAME kind of darkens the image when it pauses like that. When you hit the old F5 on the keyboard. But yes. And the movement in this is really janky. You can kind of skip around if you just sort of wiggle the joystick. And like, this game is just as framey as it looks, right? This is not my stream dying. This is not like my internet bandwidth being bad. This game just looks and moves like this. And you've also got running elbow drop here. So you can dash, and then you can do the elbow drop. You can do Frankensteiners with him in the air, which you'll see in a minute. Yeah, the spin kick is really good for clearing out crowds, because this game is just nothing but crowds running at you, right? That's what both versions of this game are. It's not. I mean, you could be redundant or you know, pedantic and say that all beat 'em ups are that. And you can try and like hit him with the elbow drop and things like this, right? Here, we'll try and hit him with the elbow. There we go. I love how compared to Yukide, these guys are just like tiny, tiny men. They look so small. River City Girls is good. I love River City Girls. It's a good video game. Yeah, we take out the bikes with an elbow drop, like you do. Let's see, get my mouse cursor off the screen here. That's a little distracting. And they like to throw the bosses here with goons and traditional Double Dragon, and usually the bosses have a tactic that isn't just spin kicking that'll work for them, but I'm trying to get the goons out of the way here first. He's just jumping up on those boxes for whatever reason. All right, and so now we're gonna Frankensteiner this guy, like so. That's just jumping and hitting the punch button, by the way. And you gotta kinda, you know, he's trying to jump at me too, so we gotta kinda line it up with him, you know, a little bit, and then you can come up to him and backdrop him. Oops. And he's done. This is Hiruko. She's telling us to get all the Rosetta Stones, and so she's sending us country to country.
Mission
to gather these stones for reasons that she never really tells us. Yeah, I feel like if you know how to play this game, this is the thing, right? If you, and this is my thesis statement for Double Dragon 3 in general, so just kind of keep this in mind as you form your own opinions. I think that if you just put a quarter into this and you just start hitting punch and kick, right, you're going to have a bad time in this game, because it's just, I would argue none of the Double Dragon games really work that way. I would say from Double Dragon 1, you need to know about the elbow. But this game especially, you kind of need to know what you're supposed to do. And the game doesn't tell you that, right? Because you'll just be trading blows with people all the time. And it's just a bad time. But when you know what you're supposed to do, it actually makes the game, I think, a little bit more fun. Oh, yeah, that's right. The guy who I just beat, whose name I already forget, was, because we were back in New York, you know, at the Lee brothers' old stomping ground, was Machine Gun Willie's brother. I think that's the lore. And now we're in China. But, like, even if you know the moves, this is not necessarily an easy game. You have to really be sort of positioning yourself all the time, because different guys have different attacks. See, like, he just nailed me with a jump kick right there. And so, like, you gotta kind of be aware of, like, what the different enemies can do. At least passively. Oh, that didn't hit him. Okay. Yeah, you gotta find that exploit. That's the name of the game for Double Dragon. It kind of always has been, right? Oh. And so when you get up, you want to be wiggling that joystick, because you don't want to get stuck in stun. Yeah, hit him with the elbow drop. And, like, get as many guys, like, around you as you can, so that spin kick really clears a crowd, you know? That's what I like to do. So you know, maximizing your spin kicks. And so generally after, you know, the crowd is a little bit thin, you'll get to move on. I somehow didn't hit him with the elbow drop. He was a little too off screen there. Is he dead? Okay. And so then there'll be like these weird stretches of levels that you're just kind of running or walking through. with no enemies until you hit another point where there are more enemies. So like the layout for this game is just kind of strange. And so we're already at the boss. Again, we want to take care of his goons first, if we can. Even though he's... This boss sometimes gives me a little bit of trouble. They're, he's a tough one, as you can see. And I'm probably not going to be able to 1 credit clear this, if I'm being honest with myself. For as much as I have practiced this, this is an easy game to be wildly inconsistent at. And so then, when you have this guy down here, right, you get him down into the corner, and then when you're close to him, he doesn't know what to do. His AI doesn't know what to do, so you can just sit here and hit him, and hit him, and hit him, and wear his health down, but you can't see his health, so you have to kind of guess. But, because you need a knockdown on him in order to beat him. So I usually like to punch him a bunch. This is probably good. A good amount of punching. And then I try and get over here. And then I try and Frankensteiner him. And usually that does the trick. There we go. NES Double Dragon 2 lets you play with your... Oh yeah, NES Double Dragon 2 has the most move variety, hands down. Like, the back kick works well in that game. You can do the hyper knee and the uppercut, right? If your inputs are good. So like Double Dragon 2 gives you much like bigger of a verb set. So in that way, like NES Double Dragon 2 is probably the most balanced, like pleasant experience for a beat 'em up, except for that platforming, man. That platforming sucks butt in that game. Like they make you do way too much of it. And Double Dragon was never a game where you were meant to do platforming in. All right, so now we're in Japan. We're getting more Rosetta Stones, like we do. And so things get a little bit dangerous here, as you can see. We got guys who have real move identity. And like will hit you if you let them be at a certain distance. See? You really kind of have to be careful there. You love to see it when you can line up, seeing when those guys jump back, like you really want to be careful. Nope. Nope. Again, you really want to kind of be moving around a lot with these guys. And then, yeah, you can do on the ground attacks, too, as you just saw me do. Oh. Luckily, that kind of bypassed his attack. Elbow drop this guy. We don't want to go for another elbow drop because he's moving. So he's going to do those jumps when he backs up like that. Ooh, okay, that one missed. That's fine. Nope. Luckily, they're not good at, like, correcting their axes. Their axes. Third's moveset on Double Dragon 2. I don't know, I feel like the Double Dragon 2 moveset was pretty good, wasn't it? It was, it had a... I think it had a... Or you mean Arcade Double Dragon 2. Yeah, that might have been fun. Oh, yeah, I don't know how... I guess I would have had to jump up to the top. Okay, I'm surprised that elbow drop actually hit him there. Nope. Oh yeah, there's spikes up there, by the way. Oh god, I'm almost down to 8 health. I'm gonna have to credit through this. There's no way I'm gonna get through this boss with only 8 health. I must have taken more hits than I thought. Yeah, oh well, I'm already 1 credit in. That's okay. Let's do some variety here, right? Let's show some of the other ones. You still got kind of the same spin kick with Billy here, and he's like more human sized. And his elbow drop is much more of a dive, isn't it? He's just kind of like, whoa! All right. Oh, wait, hold on. I was not supposed to go in yet. That's up here. Look at how gigantic... I'm sorry, I'm so used to seeing Yukide that he's just so tiny. He just looks like a little guy. I feel like a spin kick also does not have quite the reach that Yukide's does. Maybe it's just my imagination. But he is faster. He definitely is faster than Yukide. Like, there's no doubt about that. All right, I want to... Oop. Oh, did I already get rid of the other guy? Okay. And we can still kind of do... It's not the Frankensteiner, but it's kind of a different kind of move. Get rid of him. A salmon upstream? He definitely does, doesn't he? Let's move you over here to the corner, and we'll see why in a bit. I mean, we want to be on the tatami is the real reason. Oh! He's got shurikens. He is a ninja after all, right? Let's loop him here. Oh, turn around jump kick. Look at... All right, so... This is not... I have trouble doing this. But what I really want to do is try and get... He keeps getting behind me. That's the problem. Okay. That was unfortunate. Let me continue with Billy here. What I'm trying to do... And I don't think I maybe just didn't position these guys right. Is I want them all kind of clumped like this. But I don't want to knock them down. I want to just keep neutral kicking kind of at a nice pace like this. So I don't have to fight all three of them. And these guys will just die eventually, as you saw there. And so now we've got the two of the Rosetta Stones, which Hiruko is very surprised about. So now we must go to Italy for the third stone. And now, you know, as modern day Italy does, we have like soldiers with bows and arrows. You know, I don't know if you've all been to Italy before, but this is exactly what it looks like. I promise. And East Technologies is also very sure of this as well. These guys kind of just keep coming. Eventually we see the boss, who will come in on his horse. And we can just kind of ignore... Oh, there he is. Gladiators just walking around. Yeah, like I said, like there are. Haven't you ever been to Italy? Oops. We can't spin kick our way through and... horse. Oh, I think I heard you guys both die, so we're gonna boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop run on over this way. And now here's our boss. Of course, we want to get rid of these guys if we can't. Okay, that spin kick should have hit. Thank you very much. I think we've got more than one of these guys who shows up. Maybe, maybe not. And of course, we just Frankensteiner this guy. Well, this isn't a Frankensteiner. This is whatever Billy's doing there. I'm not really sure what you would even call that. Because if you just try and attack this guy, he will just like spear poke you all day long, basically. Like that. So we're just doing this until he dies. I could have grabbed and backbreakered him there. Like so. Well, this guy's got some health. I think I'm doing a little bit less damage because I'm not doing Yukide's damage output. Right? Yeah, we got a whole like inter-country war going on here right beneath our noses. And now this is actually the last level. So guys on bikes in Egypt, sure, okay. But then this game takes a real weird turn. All right, what's happening here? We've got like weird, what is this? What are these guys? They're like strange tree men. Ah! Oh, we got the specs. The specs for Arcade Double Dragon. I'll take a look at those in a second. So I'm actually a little curious as to what kind of hardware this lovely game runs on. And they turn into trees after we've beaten them, as you can see. Which is sort of strange. 16K of RAM. I'm trying to think about what we'd compare the specs of old Double Dragon 3 to. I wonder how big of a hardware upgrade this is over previous entries in the series. Because, I mean, the sound is, like, if you like nothing else about this game, I think the sound is pretty darn good, personally. And here, as you can see, we're using the... Ah! There's another one. Okay. Lots of elbow drops in this stage. A lot of problems are... So, in a way, it's very fitting, right? Because the elbow is, once again, a very strong move in this Double Dragon. Just like it was in the very first one. So, kind of a return to form in that way, right? Alright, we got more of these guys. He's just gonna kind of pop out of nowhere. Oh no, there's Hiruko. Okay. Oh, they came on screen. Sidle our way up into the door here. And so we've got stuff coming out of the ground that we just have to kind of elbow. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, alright, who should we pick next? Let's do the Oyamas. Our speed type characters. All right, this is an interesting boss fight. We've got this thing. Oops, I didn't dash in time. Which every fifth one or so will swoop down at you. So we gotta kind of keep track of where that is so we can get out of its way. See, otherwise that happens. But we also want to do damage to this fellow. I'm not... Okay, I was way off count. Okay. Oh, alright. Ah! See, gave me the old 1-2 there. Man. That's what you're supposed to do. Boom. Ah. Man, I am doing significantly worse at this than I normally do. There we go. Ah, no. I just keep getting caught by his spear. Alright. Spend a little more time with these guys before we go to the chins and regret all of our decisions. Ah! Okay, I thought I could get back to him in time to... I mean, you can also just move around to get around this thing. You don't need to do the elbow dive there. Okay, get ready for some real weirdo shit here. Alright? So, R-O... Oh god, what are you? S-E-T... See, did you guys see that? If you don't do that correctly, this weird alien thing just like pops out and grabs you. Oh God. All right, that, I've never actually been knocked into that pit before, so I've never seen what the animation looked like and how he just kind of like stood on. Okay, does your spin kick suck? What's going on? Okay. They also have Mazinger Z's Rocket Punch, as you can see right there. Rocket Punchy. And we can knock as many of them into the thing as, yeah. Oh, I've spent so many 25 cents. I definitely have done better on this run than this, but this is certainly not my finest run. But it's probably not my worst one either. The real difficulty is yet to come, to be honest. All right, so on we go. We're nearing the end, actually. Here's Hiruko, and she's surprised that we've gathered 3 so far, but now she's taken them from us because she was in this for herself the entire time. And she kind of does, you know, these projectiles and things like that, but she's really easy to jump kick. I'm just trying to get rid of these jokers and their rocket punches first. Ah! And we can get up here, too. I don't think I've ever actually been up there before. And otherwise, we can just... Whoa! I, like, clipped her through the wall. You are... Girl, what are you doing? You're just hopping all around. Alright, we're just gonna keep you locked down up there. Or maybe we're not. Come here. What are you... You are moving today. What? Normally she just behaves and stays in the corner and that's that. Alright, chin. Let's do the chins before we go back to Yuki days here. This is Chin Seimei. He just sucks. He has no... He just kind of has a little hop kick like that. And I don't... Like, I guess he's sort of the... Like, look at what happens if you just try and, like... Okay, well, I finished her with a punch there, but, like... He is just not, I don't feel like, any kind of a viable character for this. The other 3 you can get stuff done with. But Chin... Alright, let's see if this guy even works with Chin. The mummy here has a very simple strategy. You just do elbows, or dives, or, you know, whatever. Ooh, God, no, that's bad. Oh, no, Chin. Chin. And then when you're too close, he can just toss you. So you really need to get your range right. Meaning you gotta kind of dash back. And I think you gotta hit him with about 20-ish of these. But this is the safest strat for him by far. Hiruko is that a film? Shinya Tsukamoto's Hiruko. Don't believe I've ever seen that one. So we're talking the similar-ish to a CPS-1, it sounds like. Minus some background tileage. Oh, there he goes. All right. And so now, who do we face as the last boss but the resurrection of Cleopatra? Because of course, why, we're in Egypt, right? We just fought a mummy. What else are we going to do but face off against the resurrection of Cleopatra? This story is just wild. Like, it's the most insane Double Dragon has ever gone. And this is another one where if you don't know what to do, like, this is just going to eat your quarters. It's going to eat my quarters, and I know what to do. Mine is just a skill issue. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to kind of stay above her, just above her. That's not above her. That's on the same plane as her, because then she just pushes you away. Because then she does this teleport thing, right? But I think Chin is actually too slow to pull this off. I might have to show you with a different character. Oh my god, he seems like he's just too slow. Let's see here. Go on. There we go. So you want to get her to dash over to the other side so you can elbow her. Like so. Maybe Chin's not too slow. He feels slower. But if you're in line with her, she'll just force push you pretty much every single time. And that happens sometimes too. But in general, you just kind of want to move with her, and that's why it's actually really easy to run out the timer. The timer is actually about to run out on me. See? So, yeah, this is difficult. With all it makes you go through in that last stage. And my dash did not come out in time there. But you can, generally speaking, do this to her. Oh, it did come out in time. Okay. Jamming on that stick too much. I canceled my own dash, I'm pretty sure. And that just came a little short. I dashed from a little too far away. There we go. Should be any time. No, what am I doing? Oh, she was on another plane. Ah, she went up to mine. Okay. Always want to either be above or below. Ah! That was just too short of a distance. And see, if you go along her axes, you're kind of in trouble. Ah! I didn't get it in time. Right, Jessica? I mean, Marion. What would Chibi UFO say if they were here? Here, you equating Jessica to Marion. I didn't think that was gonna hit. And like, these bosses just take so many hits, I don't really know how you're supposed to do this. You just have to do a better job of manipulating her than I am and hitting those elbows, I think. Oh, there we go. Woo! That's right, hit her! Hit her with the hammer! And there, the battle is ended! As Yukide just sits in front of this giant treasure trove. Yeah, I also really appreciate the audacity. And so here it says that with Cleopatra's treasure in hand, our heroes are actually using it to help the underprivileged children of the world. And so with the power of the 3 Rosetta Stones turned into 1, it has the power to, it's the greatest power that has the power to change the world. So a good message in the end too, I guess. The the Double Dragon folks said, you know what, we're gonna use that to help you know, impoverished children, I guess. I don't know if this is a ROM issue or not, but there's no music here right now. I can't remember if there normally is or not. Oh, thank you. It was not my best. I what, 4 or 5 credits or something I had to feed into that. I've done it. I've never actually 1 credit cleared it. I always slip up somewhere, even if it's at the last boss. It's a tricky level, but again, I kind of feel like if you know it, it's not that bad. But we got to look at the US version because the US version does something. It does something. And yeah. So 1 moment here. That's a reset. This is escape. But yeah, I also appreciate the audacity, right? It's just, the story is just so wacky. It's so strange. And really, it has nothing to do with Double Dragon up until this point. Like I don't believe, there is in the NES version, I believe, but I don't believe in the arcade version there is a single mention of Marion anywhere in it at all. I don't think. I'd have to go back and watch my own video or read my own script. But I think it's the NES one that gets into the Marion stuff. But the arcade is just like, this old lady, she said, go find the stones, and we're going to go find the stones, and that's it. All right. Here's I mean, not quite in the same way that the NES version does. Like it has throws, it has spin kicks, it has, you know, punches and kicks. But in the Japanese version, you just had all of them, right? Well, so we'll look at the English story here. 3 Rosetta. Yeah, find the 3 Rosetta Stones and then go to Egypt. Okay, old lady that we're just now meeting. That sounds good. I guess she tempted the Lee brothers with just like, there's the world's strongest enemy, and they're like, strongest enemy? Count us in.
Double Dragon 3. The Rosetta Stone.
The Rosetta Stone. Double Dragon 3. The Rosetta Stone. Alright. Let's credit up here. Alright, so.
Mission 1.
I believe this one is mapped to control panel things, because if you notice, we didn't get to pick who we wanted. Wait, what's this? What are we doing? Oh no, I have to put in coins for money. Oh no. Okay. I guess I'm gonna put in a bunch of coins so I can do what? Power up? And I can just keep going in here. I can buy extra guys. I love how they call it extra guys. Tricks? What is tricks? I don't really remember what any of these are, to be honest with you. Tricks, we just bought tricks. Can I spin kick yet? I cannot spin kick. Or hold on, my buttons might not be set for this one. Let me just double check. Yeah, we're probably not going to get a chance to look at the Genesis one tonight, but okay, hold on. Why is that happening? That's weird. Why are you not showing MAME all of a sudden? 1 second. It might have... I did hit escape on that game, but MAME stayed running. 1 second. Let me actually restart MAME here. Why is that? MAME again. One more time. Give it a second in case Sometimes it just needs a second. I'm just waiting to even just see the menu here, the main menu. Come on. Why are you doing this, MAME? All right, hold on. Let me dig into my OBS scenes in case you may just see the camera change for a moment. Okay, so this is the screen where MAME is supposed to be. MAME is visible. It shouldn't be an issue of that. Okay. Oh, okay. I don't. Whatever. Fine. Who really understands the ways of OBS? No one. That's who. All right. Let's take that from the top, shall we? Because I'm assuming you couldn't see it from the beginning of Double Dragon 3 US here. Here we go. All right. So we'll just let the opening story scroll go here. Were you getting the audio of it at all and just not? Wait, is it not? It's not caught up yet. It's just showing the menu. What the hell is happening? Why are you doing this, MAME? Hold on a second. Let me just look at the property. Yeah, I'm thinking it's microtransactioning me. Is exactly what's happening here. Let me try this. 1 second. 1 second. Good Lord. Why was that there necessary? I don't know. I did not have to do that. I'm using the same version of MAME that I was the first time. Anyway, all right. Let's credit up here. All right. We'll put in a bunch of credits ahead of time because this game wants us to have them. So we don't get to pick our characters. I think they're mapped to places on the control panel. And we got a shop here. What is this? Oh boy. Okay. We can power up. We can buy extra guys.
Your stamina will increase 1.5. Thank you.
Power up. Okay, that's just health, I think. Tricks, I believe, are moves. Trick. We can just make her say trick. Trick. And then you can just feed quarters into this thing. Okay. I think we got the tricks. That should mean, oh yeah, look, we can spin kick. I didn't show it beforehand, but you did not have this move unless you bought it. So that's some nonsense right there. Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay.
What would you like?
I would like an extra guy. And isn't it certain characters per level or something like that? But I think I have to continue in order to even be able to pick them, right? Isn't that how this works? It's been a while since I played this version of the game. It's gonna do some elbows just for good measure here. But yeah, this was not the first arcade game to do this. I think I erroneously made that statement in my Double Dragon 3 video that I did way back then. And BBH was like, no, you're wrong. And I was like, no, you're right, I am wrong. And so he gives me hell about that every once in a while. Just fine. Okay, once we run out here, well, if I even die here. But otherwise, I mean, the strategies are all kind of the same. I think that got both bikes, right? Custom build of 86 box and your brain was breaking. Well, I am glad I could help in some small way. Okay, yeah, that guy doesn't usually die in just one hit. Interesting. Okay, all right, so we're just gonna throw loop this guy. like we do, and then I think you should be ready for backbreaker. Oh, no, he's not. Okay. Okay. All right, fine. We'll just throw you like this forever. There we go. There's the suplex or the backbreaker or whatever you want to call it. The first stone is in China. Your battle is waiting for you, double dragons. But there's only one of me.
Mission 2.
We'll just go on this one as far as we can on a credit here. Okay, I want to see.
What would you like? Only need one
Can I still buy more tricks? No, I can't. I don't think I can buy more tricks. Extra guys. Give me the extra guys. We won't be cheaters, and we won't just like buy energy. But yeah, you can kind of understand why people tend to choose the Japanese version here. I would say, because you just don't have to bother with like having to insert a quarter, real or virtual, to buy all of your moves. Because like, is it a 1 credit clear if you had to put in a quarter to buy a move? You know, it's like you can have real discussions about that, right? There we go. Hit him off screen with the elbow. I did not do the same thing that time. Please, sir, get hit by my spin kick. Oh, you're dead. Okay. I don't need to worry about elbow dashing you then. The elbow drop is very satisfying, though, I have to say. Probably one of the most satisfying elbow drops in games that I can think of. But yeah, the microtransactions thing is it's just bad, right? And like, I think that's why for the Japanese version, it came out months later and they were like, we can't do this. Like, we cannot release this here like this, you know? I think that was the thinking. I have to kill him before I touch the stone. Is that a euphemism? Touch the stone? No? Okay. Whoa! Sir! Please, wait! Did he just jump kick the boss? Or was that my spin kick that hit? Okay, yeah, okay, and now I get to play as him. All right, so yeah, that's how this works. Okay. I'm still not convinced that I really understand what happened there, but, okay, come on. Sir, I'm just trying to Frankenstein you. Is that, you don't make this harder than it needs to be. Okay? All right. Actually, no, I'm supposed to do the trick here, aren't I? No, 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 no. Down here. Sir? Sir? Down here. We're gonna do this. Whether you like it or not. You're gonna get punched a bunch because apparently no one taught you what to do up close. All right, that should be enough. He's gonna kill me before I... There we go. And I can't remember, I guess we'll find out in a minute. Do we get health refills between levels in this, or do they really play dirty pool and want us to put in more quarters every time we need more health? We get some health. It's not a complete refill like it is in the Japanese version, but it is some health. Still. Kind of dirty, right? In my opinion, anyway. That's just money grubbing. Okay, you can stop doing that now. Thank you very much. Spun kick them all up onto the deck. Amazing. Come, step right up. Get your elbow drops here. All right. I thought he was going to get me there. Ah, nope, that's going to be it. All right. But yes, that's what they did to double... Oh, I get Chin. Oh, okay, because I bought 2 guys. That's right. Unfortunately, Chin sucks. I guess just elbow... Why can't I get my dash out? Like, I guess all Chin's good for is elbow drops, as far as I'm concerned. His spin kick is not even a spin kick. It's almost like the thing he has in NES Double Dragon 2, which we'll look at in just a moment here. Oh, it's absolutely to see how far they could take greed, right? It's like, it's the height of it, really. Because you saw stuff, what, in like Ivan Iron Man Stewart Super Off-Road and things like that, right? To power up your car and things of that nature. Definitely takes longer to kill him this way than it does with the spin kicks, that's for sure. Yeah, see, he's not gonna let me just dash in on him like these guys do. Or maybe he is! And he has a... Oh, he just takes you straight down. That's fun. I mean, at least they gave him, like, distinct, you know, movesets. That's something. Sir. Shin is so much slower moving that it's harder for me to even tell when I'm lined up. Oh, the smoke, like, fatigues you or something. All right, I just need to get out of this corner. Okay, whatever. I think that's it, because I don't think we've gotten enough to buy the Oyamas. All right. Well, that's what they did to Double Dragon 3 in America. So, what I think we really need to... Oh, I understand what I did with MAME, actually. Okay, that was on me. To teabag that ninja, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. Trade West may be the reason. Oh, interesting. I guess I could see that. I could see that. All right. But you know what time it is, right? You all know what time it is. Hopefully most of you do who have been here before know that before we evaluated ourselves, right? Let's take a look at some Japanese magazines, shall we? So, well, you know how we like to do this. This is Game Machine. This is a Japanese arcade publication, a trade publication, you might say. And we like to kind of flip through these. We haven't done one of these in a little while, I feel like, because we haven't done an arcade game in a little bit. This is January 1st, 1991. So we're ringing in the new year with it's gonna be Bimmy and Jimmy, yes. We will, again, we'll first show the Japanese version because the Japanese version of Double Dragon 3 NES is actually easier by a good bit, but we'll show the thing that everybody wants to see too. Don't worry. Okay, so we've got, I guess this is what probably, is that a ram, or a sheep or something? It must have been the year of that animal. Since this is the January 1st issue. Oh, look at that. We got Sonic. Has anyone ever played Sonic Blast Man? I've never seen in the wild a Sonic Blast Man cabinet. And I desperately hope there is one somewhere that I can play and film. Because let's see how much I can zoom in on this. This is only a magazine scan, so we're only going to be able to get so good. But if you look down here, it's one of those punchy machines, right? It's got a big punching bag. And, you know, you're in gloves and you're fighting these guys on the screen here, right? You're punching them. So most people probably know Sonic Blast Man for its Super Nintendo game, which was a more traditional beat 'em up. But the original arcade game was not. It was one of those punchy games. Oh, you had one at the mall. Oh man, I bet that thing got wrecked at a mall. It probably just got so damaged. It's a really neat machine. There was one in Winnipeg at some point. If anyone knows where there's one today, please tell me, because I know there's a modern Sonic Blast Man, like not even a reissue, just like a whole newer Sonic Blast Man game that isn't, it's the same idea, but there's not like a bag. It's like you're punching, you know, and there's sensors and things like this. So I know there's that, but this is not that. This is old school. And it says here, Sono gurobu wa happy endo no tame ni. Those gloves are for a happy ending. I don't think they mean that kind of happy ending. I think they mean get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah. It does. It has sort of a punching thing. I mean, obviously not with real gloves, not on a Super Nintendo, but, and I mean, you had similar things, like you had Data East, like arm wrestling games and things like that, right? Much later, you had a Fist of the North Star punching one that was a little more sophisticated. It didn't have just one bag. It had like sensors here, and here, and you were kind of going bu 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 bu, you know, ah, da, 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 da. That's very relevant because we're playing through Fist of the North Star video games on Thursday. Every Fist of the North Star game, come on back Thursday, everyone. We're not going to be able to play that one though, because I don't have one of those, and there's not one anywhere around here, so we might just have to watch a video or something. I hear tell there's one at 100 Yen Arcade in Seattle though, which I'm going to have to go visit sometime. Anyway, so Sonic Blast Man, pretty cool. I think Sonic Blast Man is pretty neat. And then you got a little mention of Gun Frontier for it's all the craze. It's gonna be, you know, you're gonna be obsessed with it. All you shooting fans, all you know, shmup fanatics, Gun Frontier. Gact, oh, there's a video of Gact playing the Hokuto no Ken punching game. Oh my gosh. A 3D one with sensors that could track the glove movements, trying to look it up. That might be the newer Sonic Blast Man one. I've gotten to play that at Midwest Gaming Classic. Someone brought it, but it is definitely newer, right? It's not like vintage 90s. Okay, what else do we have here? Cisco Heat. We got like a little police car from, I've never played Cisco Heat, but before he was part of this, probably before he was part of this. Yeah, Sonic Blast Heroes, that's what it was. I knew it had some kind of a special name. I just couldn't remember what it was, even though I have pictures of it around here somewhere. Let's get through the news articles here, because there's a mechanical T-Rex there. That's fun. Let's see. We're visual people. We like to look at pictures. Anything interesting here? And I do like to look at these kids attractions, because sometimes there's real fun stuff there. Not anything too crazy here right now. What do we got here? We got Super Burger Time. Look at this ad. What an ad this is for Super Burger Time. A remix of the first stage of Gun Pretty Crazy. It was oh, you may. I didn't know you did MIDI remixes. Do you have a place you put those that you want to drop a link into the chat for, so people can go check them out if they want to? We got Super Burger Time and Burger Time Deluxe on the Game Boy here. I don't know if I've played Burger Time. I don't know if I've ever played Super Burger Time. Maybe not even once. We've got we've got another sexy mahjong game. It's been a while since we've seen one of those, hasn't it? Netketsu Mahjong Sengong After 5, so it's Mahjong After Dark. We've got different types of ladies that you can date in this particular mahjong game, such as nurses, stewardess, flight attendants. They used to call them stewardesses back then. Office ladies, OLs. If anybody knows that oeru means office lady, sort of like the lady equivalent of the salary man. Peter Pepper's Ice Cream Factory. That is also a entry in that series, which I don't think I've also ever played that either. But yeah, we haven't looked at a game machine in a while, but a staple of every game machine from the era is sexy mahjong games. You will never, ever stop seeing them. Radmobile, we got a nice like dual page ad for Radmobile here. I don't know if anyone has had the chance to use a deluxe Radmobile machine, but it is tiny. It is for children. I'm about 6 feet tall, and my legs can barely fit into that thing. I am like practically hunched over on myself when I am inside of that Radmobile. It is not fun. And it's got like a windshield wipers button you can hit. You can kind of see it in the screenshots here. Because it'll start raining in the middle of the stages and you'll have to hit the wipers. You'll have to turn on your headlights and things like that. Yep, it is probably the best playable version of it because you can play it in MAME, but like it controls real funky. Like I tried tuning that and I couldn't get anything that wasn't just immediately steering me into a wall. Maybe like Final Burn Neo or something might do it a little bit better. I haven't tried that, but yeah, I also have an Astro City Mini downstairs, and when I had to do footage capture of it, excuse me, I just used the Astro City Mini to do it. You did a remix of Radmobile too. Radmobile has some really good music. The former SST band Blind Spot, now defunct, but Sega's old in-house band, they've done some good covers of songs from Radmobile. What do we got? We've got the Neo Geo to JAMA conversion kit, apparently. That's a thing that exists. And it's got the Super Spy in it. Look at that. I always forget that it was called Gale Racer on the Saturn. What a weird decision that was. Yeah, and it had Sonic dangling as like a charm from the mirror or something like that. Isn't that what it was? Mocap boxing. I have never experienced mocap boxing before. I can say. Kengo. I don't think I've ever played Kengo. Who is Kengo by? That's an IREM. Yeah, that's an IREM game. That's what I thought. I don't think I've ever tried out Kengo. Dark Tetsuya, you've played mocap. There's a golf one too? Are these like recent? These must be semi-recent games, right? Sort of like Sonic Blast Man Heroes and things like that. Oh, the Super Spy is an insane game. If anyone wants to see fellow retro streamer Lord BBH, who I was talking about earlier, has done a couple 1cc's of the Super Spy, and it's like 90 minutes long. It's insanity. Kengo is the sequel to Ninja Spirit. Okay. It looks a bit, yeah, I guess they must have gone for something different. Something different for that one, didn't they? Mocap boxing was, no, it was 90s? I'm going to have to, okay, hold on a second. I'm going to make a note for myself here. Look up mocap boxing. Yeah, research that. I wonder if that was the same era as those Sega 3D arcade games like Holosseum and things like that. Not that it's the same type of game. Let's see here. We're almost to the rankings, but not before we hit Escape Kids. They're escaping, apparently. Okay, here we go. There's an ad for Blood Brothers, too. TAD Corporation. We played Legionnaire last week. Speaking of the TAD Corporation, 2001 for mocap. I mean, it is almost the 90s, right? Okay, so what we usually like to do here is after we play an arcade game, we'll take a look at Game Machine here and say, where did it fit in? Where did it rank? So I believe this is probably based on income, right? Within a 2-week period, because this was a bi-weekly publication. You just get into the fight at the mall, like fight each other, like who is better at mocap boxing and like actually do like real life boxing instead of mocap boxing. That sounds like something that would happen in a mall in America for sure. Okay. Well, Double Dragon 3 actually did pretty okay. It came in at number 3. I'll actually zoom in a little bit on this so we can see this a little bit better. One moment. There we go. Namco's Dragon Saber came in at number 1. Majestic 12, aka Super Space Invaders, came in at number 2 from Taito. And yeah, here's Technos Japan with Double Dragon 3. So right out the gate at number 3, like, it's already not living up to its predecessors, right? But like, this is not bad for what that game is and how weird it was. Like, I don't know. Do you guys think, what does everybody think? I mean, like, compared to some of this other stuff, like you've got like Puzzle, Joy Joy Kid, not my favorite Neo Geo game. You've got Raiden, which admittedly had been on the list, but it had come down from number 3. And you've got other stuff that debuted here, right? You've got like Punk Shot from Konami. You've got everyone's favorite game, Pit Fighter from Atari, that actually came in lower than Double Dragon 3. You've got like Super Pang, and the rest of the stuff is just stuff that moved down. Like, does this seem right to you for Double Dragon 3? Not for like all time, but for, you know, this particular like snapshot in time, right? Like, is Double Dragon 3 better than Pit Fighter is what I'm asking you. I would argue yes. Double Dragon 3, for all of its jank, is much, much better than Pit Fighter. But that is my opinion. And then, you know, we've got some other stuff that is kind of, yep, that's why you've got Atari Games Konami here right underneath it. Konami had nothing to do with this in the West, but they did bring it to Japan for Atari Games. You've got U.S. Navy, aka Carrier Air Wing, which fell down all the way from number 2 because some, you know, pretty heavy hitters knocked it out. This was the sequel to UN Squadron. We've got, this is still in the middle of a big puzzle game arcade boom, by the way, well into the beginning of 1991. You've got Columns and Tetris just like locked in eternal battle at this point. Like, right now, Columns is above Tetris, but like, they will trade off, right? Like, they go back and forth and back and forth. And like, it just takes a really long time before either of these drops off the list. And speaking of which, you have the Super Spy from SNK right here. You've got things like World Stadium 90 from Namco. You got Cyberlip. So you've got, you know, a bunch of Neo Geo games starting to kind of work their way onto here. You've got actually 2 World Cup games on here. What's going on? Oh, sorry, World Stadium and World Cup, my fault. One is probably baseball and one is soccer. And you've got Columns 2 and Columns both on this list at the same time, and the newer game is doing worse. Let's see. They are both Sega games. That is true. So Sega eating good on the puzzle game front here. They got puzzle games alone. They got 3 on here. You've got MVP by Sega on here. You've got Super Masters by Sega. Still got Final Fight hanging on here from late 89. Still an arcade mainstay, and this is the right year for Street Fighter 2, but we haven't hit Street Fighter 2 yet. This is the beginning of the year. So we've got Sun Denshi, aka Sunsoft, with Shanghai 2, another big arcade mainstay. You got Super Formula. You've got Capcom World. You've got Taito's Quiz HQ, the quiz spin-off of Chase HQ. You've got Outzone, and you've got Parodius coming in at the bottom of the list here. But yeah, it interesting that it fell where it did, right? Oh, Street Fighter 2 would be what, April or something like that? March, April, something like that. We've looked at where Street Fighter 2 fell on this stream before, and we won't hit that in our game machines today. But well, let's take a peek at some of the other stuff we got going on over here. So they have, for anyone who's unfamiliar with how this works, they have table type cabinets, aka games that can be played in like a cocktail, sit down type format. They don't necessarily have to be, but they can be, versus the upright cockpits, where upright/cockpit, I should say, which are games that are in bespoke cabinets because of some type of functionality or some type of presentation element where they won't just work in a normal table style cabinet. So we've got, a lot of driving games and gun games here, right? Like we've got Final Lap 2. We've got different versions of each of them too. You've got like the standard and the deluxe, because these have wheels on them, so you can't display them in a table, right? You've got Space Gun from Taito, which is a light gun game. You've got what we saw earlier, Cisco Heat from Jalico, the sit-down driving game. You've got Hard Drivin' from Atari Games Namco. You've got Beast Busters from SNK, which is another light gun one. Laser Ghost from Sega, another light gun. GP Rider, the ride-on version. Big Run from Jalico. Super Monaco GP Deluxe. And then you've got the deluxe version of G-Lock. This is not the R360 version. That would not come until later this year. But you do have G-Lock, the deluxe G-Lock here. You still got the deluxe Outrun hanging on, like a real mainstay. You've got Winning Run Suzuka GP. You've got Air Inferno from Taito, and you've got SCI from Taito. Yeah, Beast Busters is awesome. Beast Busters is a blast to play. And you've got your Mahjong videos too, right? So at one point they mixed the Mahjong games into the table types, and eventually they broke them out into their own category. So, I mean, there's all, they only have 5 here for Mahjong, but there they are. And so on a previous stream when we were looking at this, I wondered out loud where where the name flippers came from. These are pinball tables, right? Look at Data East, Williams, Earthshaker, Simpsons, Phantom of the Opera. These are pinball tables. This is a ranking for pinball tables, which has never been as popular in Japan, but it has had a presence. And so I was like, where does flippers come from? Do Japanese people call them flippers? But I found out the answer from, where did I find it out from? I was watching some YouTube video, or no. I remember what it was. I was listening to an episode of Retronauts semi-recently that Bob Mackey hosted. And I forget the gentleman's name, but he had written a book about pinball. He was a pinball historian. It was a fascinating episode. And he talked about how, I believe in Germany, and probably other countries in Europe too, they called them flippers. They're not called pinball, they're called flippers. After, the flippers, right? The pinball flippers at the bottom of the boards. So finally I have my answer. And so I guess they were just co-opting the European terminology for this, which Japan often does, right? It's certainly not the first time we've heard that happen. Yeah, Hyper Neo 64. Yeah, I actually haven't played that Hyper Neo 64 Beast Busters. I'll have to change that. But yeah, that's I discovered the history of flippers. Fun. And yeah, that's more or less going to be this issue, but I wanted to show a couple more things here real quick. We're going to do a couple more game machines. I'm going to move through this one a little bit more quickly, but I just want to kind of examine the rankings and see what ended up happening to Double Dragon 3 as we went along. We'll just quickly skim through and we'll stop if there's anything fun. But this is 2 weeks later, so we're going to get a lot of the same ads, right? It's not going to be too much new and different. Let's see here. Roller games. Any roller games fans out there? I'm not me. Ghost Pilots, everybody's favorite Neo Geo game, and Sengoku gets a little plug down here too. There's Kengo again. What else we got? We've got this quiz game and such. Okay, so now let's take a look at this again. And so we've had some changes here, right? We've had some changes. Oh, really? You really like Sengoku? That's so interesting to me. When I did that for scroll, oh, it's trippy as balls. That's a very accurate description. It's barely a beat 'em up. Like, it's so weird to play. Like, I made a scrolling down the belt about Sengoku a while ago. It was Sengoku and something else. Was that the Growl episode? Was it Growl and Sengoku? I don't remember exactly. It was a while ago. But the way you play it is just so strange. Like, it's nothing like a traditional beat 'em up at all. I think the Sengokus 2 and 3 would steer a little more close to how you would imagine a beat 'em up to play, but yeah, it definitely has some atmosphere and some good sound. If nothing else, you got to give it that. Okay, so we had Punk Shot go up from number 6 to number 1. So quite a jump up for Konami's Punk Shot. We've got Gal's Panic from Kaneko debuting at number 2. We've got Pound for Pound by Irem debuting at number 3. And you've got Sky Smasher from Nihon System and Taito debuting at number 4. And Dragon Saber, which was previously at number 1, got knocked down to number 5. And here's Double Dragon 3, which was previously at number 3 down to number 6. Still not really that big of a jump, right? Like, it kind of just got bumped out for the new stuff, and really that was it. And, Raiden obviously took a little bit of a fall. Hold on. I gotta hydrate for this. Too bad Chibi UFO isn't here to agree with me, but League Bowling, one of the best Neo Geo games that there is, and one of the best bowling video games that there is, I dare say. I don't know if we have other League Bowling fans out there, but I will stand up for League Bowling any day of the week. It is a great video game. And it debuted only at number 8, but you know what? Given some of the heavy hitters here, I guess I kind of get it. Sengoku 3 was cool. Yeah, the problem I had with Sengoku 3 is it was so long. I remember playing it with a friend and being like, when is this game going to end? Like, we have just been playing this forever. But I'm not to Sengoku 2 or 3 for scrolling down the belt yet, so I'll give those a little bit more of an evaluation when I get there for the videos. Oh, Sengoku 2. I think Sengoku 2 tends to be most people's favorite, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3 is a bit. 3 kind of goes off in its own weird direction. But here's our ad that we had an ad for Super Burger Time earlier, so that debuted at number 9. Final Fight jumped all the way back up the list from 19 to 10. Like, that is crazy, right? Like, this is a game that's been out in Japan since late 1989. So it's already been in arcades for a year and some change. And it still has this kind of staying power. Like, I know I talk about Final Fight all the time, both here and in Scrolling Down the Belt. I've made a whole video about it, but like, all you have to do is look at these arcade publications to understand like just how important it really was and just how much staying power it had. Like, it's just so much deeper than so many other beat 'em ups. It surpassed Pit Fighter, and I agree. Someone earlier said that Pit Fighter was just kind of fun to figure out like what to do to cheese the CPU, and like I agree with that. But it's not any kind of really a good competitive game, right? It's good. It's good just to play in that way. Technos' Shadow Force goes on for way. I don't think I've played Shadow Force. We've got some of our ones from before. Puzzle, Joy Joy Kid, and Majestic 12, fell down quite a bit, actually. Super Pang fell down a good bit. Columns fell down a little. It went down from 10 to 15. Thunder Force AC Arcade debuting at number 16. Not super strong, actually. But I mean, I guess this was kind of known as a console franchise, right? More than an arcade. World Cup 90 is still here. It barely moved. World Stadium 90. Tetris is here. It bumped down a little bit. In fact, it's just now only above columns 2. You still got Capcom World. You still got the Super Spy. You still got Super Masters. You still got MVP. And somehow the Combat Tribes, a real jank-ass Technos Japan game, which I also did a video on, though I haven't streamed it yet, came up from number 29 to number 25. Here's where I'll tell my such as it is, my Combat Tribe story. I played this game a good bit at Caesarland, which was a Little Caesars sort of like family fun center that existed in the late 80s and early 90s, right around this time, which had a pretty nice arcade in it. And my family would go, and I would just spend my entire time in that arcade when I wasn't eating pizza, of course. And I played quite a bit of the Combat Tribes there. They must have been on the bleeding edge because it was probably only 90 or 91 when I was there, and they had it. But I didn't know how to read it, and I thought it was the Combat Ribes. I did not make the connection in my 10 or 11-year-old mind that it was the Combat Tribes, and that's how it was meant to be pronounced. Anyway, yeah, so Double Dragon 3 did not really move too much there. Yeah, I mean, it was from Technos, right? And you can kind of look at it and be like, oh, this is Double Dragon. This is Double Dragon related. I think I probably made that same connection. But it plays real strange. I'll have to stream that one of these days just so people can see. But I do have a video you can watch if you want to hear about the mechanics and all that. And so let's look at 215, February 15th, the next issue, just to kind of see where Double Dragon 3 ended up at that point. And again, we'll just kind of skim through here real quick. Page down, please. Thank you. We got Joe and Mac. I never played this game in the arcade. Back in the day, I only played the Super NES port, but I rented this a couple times. And like, it was kind of fun to play multiplayer. Like, it's not an amazing game or anything, but I definitely did play the Super Nintendo version a good bit with some friends and with my brother. Let's see here. Joe and Mac, love that game. What do we got over here on the right? Okay, this is just like this is a basket chance. This is just kind of like would you call that a mechanical game, I suppose? It looks like it dispenses gotchas or something. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's not here yet, but it's coming. We're getting ads for it in February. I believe it's a couple months away, but it's on the way. And it's going to take over everything. Oh, speaking of Sengoku, check it out. We got a full page ad for Sengoku, and the scans weren't quite lined up, were they? You can see the page divider there, but there's Sengoku. We got Street Fighter 2 and Sengoku all in one. What is this, Ghost Pilots? Yeah, Ghost Pilots. But boy, oh boy, did they feature Sengoku more than they did Ghost Pilots, right? You know, Past the Heavens is the final battle, is the catch copy there. Yeah. I was hoping you'd show up, Ted Bob. You only missed the arcade version. You didn't miss your beloved NES version yet. That's coming up in just a minute. You can tell me how I do in that game, since I believe you've 1 credit cleared it. It might have been a while for you, but I've heard stories of your famous 1 credit clear. Oh, did I miss Detana Twin B? Where was Detana Twin B? Oh yeah, there it is. Here, let's go take a look at this. And Punk Shot. There's Punk Shot. There's Detana Twin B. That's a cool ad. Check that out. It's possible to continue. Continue Kano. Yeah, by 1991, I would hope it would be, and you could Tochu Sanka okay, so you can come in and out in the middle of someone else's play. Tsupi Doshi Play, or Doji Play, so you can play 2 players at once. That's the whole thing with Detana Twin B. And yep, you got Punk Shot down there too, kind of featured. In a much smaller ad space there. So let's see here. There's Kengo again. They're really spending some advertising bucks on Kengo, aren't they? All right. So we'll get to where Double Dragon is. Let's just do this organically, shall we? This is Gun Frontier's debut. So Gun Frontier from Taito came in at number 1, which knocked Gal's Panic down to number 2. Pound for Pound stayed at number 3. League Bowling, I know we have another, Ted Bob is here, so we have at least another League Bowling appreciator here. League Bowling actually went up from number 8 to number 4 because people realized just how amazing League Bowling truly is. Punk Shot went down from number 1 to number 5, probably mostly because of Gun Frontier and League Bowling, let's be real. Super Burger Time went up, actually, number 9 to number 6. Final Fight went up again. It went from 19 to 10 to 7. And again, this game has been out a year and some change already. So just crazy. Sky Smasher dropped a little bit. Raiden dropped slightly. There's Blood Brothers from Tad Corporation and Tecmo. It debuted at number 10, which is probably about right. Puzzled, aka Joy Joy Kid, dropped 1. Dragon Saber dropped quite a bit. Columns rose a little bit. Pit Fighter dropped a little bit. Pit Fighter is probably just going to drop right off this list eventually. Tetris, well, I mean, of course it will eventually, but sooner rather than later, I guess I mean to say. Tetris went from 19 to 15, so it climbed. Gun Frontier, that last shot enemy for a shoot. Yep. I think, yeah, I'm no Gun Frontier expert, but I think you're remembering that correctly. Quiz HQ actually jumped up quite a bit. It dropped off the list at 26 and came back up to 16. Like, how does a game do that? Like, do people just decide, oh, this game is good actually, or this game is good again actually, and just pump a bunch of 100 yen coins into it? World Cup 90 stayed the same. Sega Masters rose a little bit. Columns 2 went up a tiny bit, and Double Dragon 3 took kind of a nosedive. It went from 6 all the way down to 20. So I think people are kind of starting to figure out, like, yeah, maybe this isn't really cutting it anymore. Maybe this is a little janky. And I think we're not going to look at the next Game Machine after this, but I think this is probably going to be the last we see of it. Like, I think it's just going to drop off and never come back after this. So that is that's kind of the life and times of Double Dragon 3. But before we leave the arcade version, we want to look at one more thing. We actually want to look at Gamist, the other hardcore arcade publication, and see where Double Dragon 3 came in on their rankings. So they have here, for anyone who's never looked at an issue of the Gamist Awards before. So you have these are the Gamist Awards, which are reader voted. Readers voted this. So for 1991, this is not a very surprising list, right? And remember, these are arcade fanatics we're talking about, right? These are like super hardcore arcade people. And so from worst to best, you have a tie actually between US Navy and Roosters, both Capcom titles. You have Steel Gunner, you have Death Braid, you have Gun Frontier, you have Edward Randy, you have Cotton, you have Starblade, you have Detana Twin B at number 3, you have Dragon Saber at 2, and you have, of course, Street Fighter 2 at number 1. So really not too many surprises there, I wouldn't say, except maybe things like US Navy. But again, remember, these are hardcore arcade people. So let's look at our other categories, because we do have other categories. But namely, so I'm just kind of scanning, and like Double Dragon 3 is really not on any of these. It's certainly not in Best Action. But if I remember correctly, these are yearly hit games, which I believe are just sort of like generally based on sort of like income and just kind of like amalgamation of factors, right? Somewhere in here, I believe we have Double Dragon 3, and I'm trying to find it. Where are you, Double Dragon 3? Here it is. At number 39 is Double Dragon 3. So just above SNK's King of the Monsters, and just below Pipe Dream from Video System. So yeah, Gamist did not really think that much of it. And I kind of get why. If you're a hardcore arcade person, like you're going to be able to do way better than this, right? Like you were eating pretty good in 1991. And just why would you sink too much time into Double Dragon 3, right? I mean, it did better than DD Crew, and probably rightfully so. But that's just kind of where we're at with this. It did better than WWF WrestleFest. Anyway. Okay. So, we have another game, though. Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right. Because yeah, there were some more arcade accurate ports of Double Dragon 3, right? You had the very late Genesis Mega Drive version. You had a real Garbo Game Boy version. I don't think we'll be looking at those tonight, but what we will be looking at is the very interesting NES version. And Double Dragon games have always kind of been their own thing on the NES, right? They've never really been quite the same as they were in the arcade version, right? This has been the case since the beginning. But this one, it definitely adheres to that. So should we do, you know what? Why not? Let's do US version first. I think I will ultimately end up going to the Japanese version because Japanese version's a little bit easier. They give you a little more health. They give you less enemies. And so I haven't really practiced on the US version, but I have practiced on the Japanese version, and I can do pretty decently. But you know what? Everybody wants to see Bimmy. So let's give the people what they want, and let's do Bimmy first. Why not? All right. Here we go. Do a quick sound check here to see what our levels are like. Probably need to turn it down for this. Killer music again, though. Right? As with any Double Dragon, really, I would say. Alright. This is Double Dragon 3, The Sacred Stones. It has a slightly different title in Japanese, but we'll get there. And, of course, we have two-player... Is this a two-player simultaneous? I legitimately don't remember. I assume it is, because Double Dragon 2 was two-player simultaneous. But anyway, it doesn't matter. A year has passed since Billy defeated the Shadow Warriors. But a new danger has reared its ugly head. Marion has vanished. I am Hiruko, a friend. You know, a thing that friends say. I have information about the girl's disappearance. Very trustworthy-looking lady. Her captors will release her after you deliver the 3 sacred stones of power, which are supposed to be the Rosetta Stones, but they don't call them that here for whatever reason. Mission 1, USA. All right. And this is also jump kicks the game. Is that how you play it too, Ted Bob? You just do a bunch of jump kicks? But our NES pad is only 2 buttons, of course. So you gotta hit both buttons to jump, and then you gotta hit an attack button in the air. So my inputs will... I will miss my inputs. It's gonna happen. So I'll have to reposition myself as best I can. Is this the Cleopatra boss music? Maybe it is. Yeah, they're all, a lot of these are kind of remixed. Look at this guy. What is the pose this guy is doing right here? Looking for a fist bump. Guy just wants a fist bump. All right. Listen, I tried to stop them, but they were too powerful for me, says Brett. They're great fighters, but the one you must fear the most is... Rah! So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of jump kicks. Because this is Double Dragon 3. and what would it be if all you weren't doing is just jump kicks? And so yeah, this is the period where they were making the Western versions of games harder. And so they gave you less health and they added more enemies. Like there was, I believe, 1 more enemy in that part than there is in the Japanese version. And of course, here we go. We running. 2-player same time. Yep, I figured that they wouldn't be taking that away from Double Dragon at this point. Oh, sorry. Was I calling it jump kick? I meant to say spin kick. I mean, what I was doing was spin kick. If I could get my input to work. Why is my input not working all of a sudden? There we go. It is crucial. I mean, every once in a while I'll hit up a weapon and hit guys with it just because it's fun. And the weapons seem pretty okay. Man, I am like whiffing my spin kicks like crazy. It is very crucial, just like it is in the arcade version. Oh my god. Okay. I'm just stun locking. Come on, inputs. I am really whiffing this. All right, come on. I think my timing is just a little off. I think you really gotta hit it. Now I'm just gonna like sit here and... I'm trying to figure out, okay, when is... I was doing it like clockwork earlier. Anyway. Let's see here. And we come to... Oh yeah, this is the one... Again, it's like Double Dragon 3 Arcade. It's just like these big empty areas that you just have to run through once your hordes of enemies are done coming at you. So we're going to kind of use the wall a little bit to our advantage here. No. No, you don't. No! Alright. And then, let's see, let me just have my notes ready as well, just in case. I think I've got all this fairly well memorized at this point, but... And soon enough we'll get to see the real unique thing about Double Dragon 3. But we'll get there. Because we can't do it yet. Why? No! Oh god, spin kick inputs. Why are you not coming out? This is a very bad place for this to be happening. A very bad... Well, it's... Any place is a bad place for it to be happening, let's be real. Ah! And if you do the spin kick at the wrong time, like... You can really kind of get caught with your pants down. And that knife hit no one. And you could kind oh, no. You could kind of see it earlier, but like the enemies will do these joint attacks. Okay. So here's a cool thing. If I hit select, yeah, this is a good Double Dragon song for sure. You can pick weapons. You can go from bare hands to nunchucks. And these do more damage and have longer reach. I don't want to get him that far away though, because he's just going to jump at me. And so you can just kind of bully this guy like this with the nunchucks until he's dead. And here comes our friend Hiruko, of course. I'm sorry about your friend Brett. We must work together to avenge him and rescue Marion. Hurry! We must go before it is too late. V-walking? What is V-walking? Hold on, I'm trying to think what you mean by V-walking. Oh, vertical walking. Yes. Because the enemies move slower up and down than they do left to right, right? That's what you mean. And so actually when you see me, a lot of my, I'm probably not doing it as much as I should. No. Okay. I didn't know that that's what you meant in an actual V pattern. But I know that their vertical movement is slower, so moving up and down to avoid them is much more effective than moving left or right, because they'll just run after you, right? Because they run, but they can't run up and down. So, yeah. I don't always remember to do that, but yes, I do try and position myself vertically and not horizontally, just because. So you want to be kind of doing this to lure them in so that they don't dash at you. And see, sometimes you'll take a stray punch, and like, that's not the end of the world. But if I would have kept him moving left or right, he would have hit me a bunch of times there. Oops. Nice. And it's always hard for me to tell, okay, when is the hitbox on this actually supposed to hit? Because sometimes I swear they're too far away and it's like, no, spin kick still hit them. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. Nope. Yeah, they have these. I believe if you're playing this game two-player, you can actually also do those dual attacks like the enemies are doing as well. Though I have never played this game two-player. When you beat this at Ubersaurus's house, Ted Bob, did you guys do it two-player, or was it just a solo effort on your part? So I have never played this game two-player a day in my life. All right, let's see here. So there's our door. And then we just... Nope. Oh, you rented it? Oh, wow. Okay. Where could you still rent NES games at the time we were... Oh, no, sorry. Wrong person. Back in the day. Yeah, back in the... Yeah, I don't think I ever rented this back when it was new. I think I was sort of vaguely aware that it existed. Oh, God damn it. Oh, what? After I hit you with a jump kick? No. No. No, come on. Come on, spin kick, what are you doing? Why are you failing me now? No. And yeah, I think this barrage of enemies would have been done by now if this was the Japanese version, if I'm not mistaken. There are quite a few of them here, mind you. even in that version. See if I can get it. Ah, I didn't get it. You can spin kick Chin. This is Chin, by the way. If you time it just right when you go through the door. All right, and so we really want to switch to nunchucks for Chin. 1 player, 2 player is fair mode. So does it not balance? So does it give you the same amount of enemies even if you do 2 players, which is really fun, actually. You can't double up characters, can you, if you get Chin is shared between characters. So they all, I mean, they all have their own health bars and you can switch between them at any point. We'll show this in just a second here. Once we actually get Chin. I feel like he's actually behaving for me a little bit better than he normally does, humorously enough. There we go. That was a pretty decent Chin. You are the greatest martial artist in the world. Here's the first stone. All right, and so now we'll show what happens. Because I like to switch to Chin for this level. So, Japan. All right, so we're going to go in here, and actually, you know, you do spin kick and things like that with Billy, but Chen, I mean, Chen's Iron Claw is really good for starters, but these ninjas are very squirrely in this level, I find. And so I actually do quite a bit better with them just punches. Shin's punches seem to have pretty good priority, even though he has much slower movement. And as long as I'm conscious about, you know, where my positioning is, I actually do pretty well just punching these guys. And I don't tend to take that much damage. Look at their lovely little slide kick there. Because they just kind of line up pretty well. Except when they throw stars at me. See? Oh yeah, Chin's definitely the damage guy, but like these ninjas are real squirrely and like I don't have as much, look at his run, I love his run. And I don't have much luck hitting them with the spin kick all the time. Like I feel like they're just that much more like fluid. So, oh god, what was this? This was, we gotta like jump, oh no! I didn't take too much damage there. I actually, to be honest, I forgot that part was actually right there, so I think you're really just supposed to jump over a lot of it. Nah. What? Then it just froze. Okay, great. That's fun. RetroArch appears to have just crashed. Well, all right. I guess I should have made a save state there. Let's do it again. I have had a weird, I've been having a weird time with RetroArch recently. I've been having oh, it's the game. Okay. And come to think of it, it has mostly been with this game. You whooped my butt so hard, you crashed the game. All right, we're gonna, actually, I wasn't having as bad of a time with the US version as I thought I would. So let's go again, and I'm gonna have to try and remember to do some save states Because I don't think I have any for the US version. Yeah, it's called the Sacred Stone. Sorry, the Rosetta Stone in Japanese, and it's called the Sacred Stones. I think it's the ROM. Because and now that Ted Bob says it, I think he's right. I think it probably has something to do with corruption in the ROM. Like, because I don't think RetroArch has really been crashing on me on too much else. So I think it has something to do with the way this ROM works with RetroArch, unfortunately. All right. One more time. We don't need all that again. USA. I'm trying to remember to hit save state from time to time as we clear levels, so at least if it crashes on me again, I won't have to go back too far. Oh, it happened to you on the original cartridge? Holy cow. Okay. I do not even have an original cartridge of Double Dragon 3. I have the Japanese versions of Double Dragon 1 and 2 on the Famicom. I have not gotten 3. What'd you find? Do we have the technical reasons for the crashes? Use an emulator, crashes during mission 3, or specific scene turns into a bad ROM dump or incorrect mapper settings. Try switching to an accurate one like Messen. I am using the Messen core. That is what I use for my my NES and Famicom emulation, because people think pretty highly of Messen. Okay, that was not fun. Sir! That's very rude. I'll try... If nothing else, I know that the Japanese version goes, I can play to the end on it. Though I did get some crashes from time to time on that one, too. But let's try this one more go with save states and see what we do. Or see how we do, rather. Dual PPU hack on a specialized Messen core? I did not. Okay. Okay. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. No. There we go. All right, we'll do save states like every kind of screen transition. So one here. Off the side you go. No, I don't want to go off the side. That does not sound like a very fun time. I just want it to happen to you, not to me. That's how that works. Do another save state here. Knife for you. Broken bottle for you. Knife for you. Come on, where are you? I love the enemies just go what? Like what? Why did you just go walking all the way over there? All right, and now we switch. I keep getting closer here and putting the stick way closer to my desk. I'm going to move back a little bit here. All right. There we go. Yeah, I don't think building architecture in the world of Double Dragon has ever believed in railings. I don't think that's ever been a thing. Mission 2, China. Save state there as well. Come on. No, you think you're gonna get that off on me, but you are not. And after I make fun of them for that, they almost did. No, don't make the platforms phase in and out. Whatever you do. I am... You know, say what you want about Double Dragon 3 here. What? But at least it doesn't have platform. I am glad for that, if nothing else. I do technically have a Twitter account. I don't use it really that much for reasons. I do use Blue Sky a little bit more. You can, if you go to 1millionpower.com, you can find all those links if you want to follow anywhere. Yeah, technically, I think I might be B. Clark OMP still on Twitter, though, like I said, I don't really look at that too much these days. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hey, these guys are just really getting me here. I wonder if I'm even going to be able to do this on this little health. If I fail on this one, I will wimp out and go to the Japanese version. Oh yeah, that's true. There is that one platforming section, which really isn't that bad, especially if you use Renzo. Like, his jump is pretty good, so... Alright, let's see if I can survive this with only 3 freaking health. Not looking too good, but we'll see. Nope, did not mean to just kick. Come on. Come a little closer, why don't you? Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, what I wouldn't give for this to be as short as it is in the Japanese version. Oh, God! No. Okay, good. Hey, just keep coming! Oh. Oh, God. I do not know how I'm gonna... I have, like, no room to make even basically a single mistake up with Chin here. Guess I could go back to my previous save state and still continue on this version, but boy, oh boy, the Japanese one is just a little more forgiving, you know? Nope. I just have to pray not for an input miss, because Shen will tear me a new one if I do. Oh no. Oh god. Okay. Oh! Whoo! Whoo! Yeah, the platforming in previous Double Dragons was just kind of unforgivable, to be honest. For as much as I love NES Double Dragon 2, those platforming sections were just nightmarish. Alright, we're making a save state here. And also I'm going to switch to Chin. Oh, of course, the off-screen shuriken. You would! You would! Nope. I love it when you get two of them lined up perfectly like that. And then sometimes they jump back and do that thing, but that's okay. You just gotta kind of roll with it. Oh yeah, I actually have Double Dragon Revive. Maybe I should consider doing that for a stream one of these days here. I would like to try it. I haven't been avoiding it for any particular reason necessarily. All right, so I think here it was the jump kicking forward. So we have to keep jump kicking forward to get around these. Like so. What? How dare you? Come on, I would like you to get to the other side if possible. Not like that. That's not really the way I wanted you to do it, but fine. Like, that guy you trade some punches with, but it's not really the end of the world. Because I think Chin is a little hardier in terms of his health pool here. So you can soak some damage. Yeah, I mean, I also think that, like, it's impossible for someone to be happy with a new Double Dragon game, right? And yeah, you had such accurate depictions like with TMNT and Streets of Rage that it's like anything that is not that is just going to have people not happy. So yeah, I don't know. I will be interested to see what I think of it, to be honest. God's sake, okay. Both of you at the same time. Oh my god. Okay, great. You guys are just misbehaving. In every possible way you could misbehave. And not yet. Okay, this is the last one. Come on, sir, quit walking over to that wall, if you please. Okay, so I think we want chin still, but we just want to go through his iron claw. This is Renzo. I think this is going to be our third character here. And I think we can hit him right when he comes through the door. No, he ducked it, but that's okay. Welcome, Double Dragons. You may have gotten past my men, but they fight like children compared to me. My Nimpo is unbeatable. And we're just gonna smack. Yeah, that's all for Renzo. I'm disgraced! I've tasted defeat for the first time! Yeah, they may also be a little more aggressive in this, though I don't know. Weirdly, I've had like an easier time with some of them than I did in the Japanese one. Maybe that's just like dumb luck. Yeah, I agree with what Ted Bob said. Double Dragon does deserve credit for trying new things here and there, but they seem like they just don't quite. Their ambition outweighs their execution. I think I'm going to switch back to spin kicks here. Also, I like to just dash over here and take care of these guys, because I think I just... Did I? Oh no, I didn't despawn them, but that's okay. I don't know if that actually really served any purpose doing that or not, but it made me feel good. Ooh. Just barely avoided that knife there. Calm down. Come on down. You'll love it when you hit both of them with a spin kick. That's the stuff. The stuff, as they call it. What am I? No. No. Okay, hold on. I need to... Again, I keep moving closer and pinching this stick right up against my desk, inhibiting my ability to move up with it. Which is not good. We don't want that. Oh, God. Come on. A little closer. And now, since you do have now 3 characters, they do not share a health pool, thank God. So you can switch to one if you're feeling a little low. But when one dies, like, they die. They ain't coming back. Not even in the Japanese version. So when their health is gone, their health is gone. No. Billy's getting a little low here. But thankfully, I think we're almost there. We got another gauntlet here, which hopefully will go well. No, that was... Ooh. Okay, he got the cheap kick in. Billy, I'll probably switch out here pretty soon. And maybe here, just to be safe. We'll do... So his jumping attack is also pretty good, though it doesn't quite have the range. Okay. If you're more kind of right on top of him like that, it works pretty nicely. And I believe it maybe does more damage. No. No, 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 no. Yeah, see, it hit him, like, way over there, too. Nice. And I think Renzo cannot pick up weapons because he's a ninja. I don't think I'm imagining that. Why? Please hit someone. Oh, God. No, jump. Jump. Oh, for God's sake. No. Oh, Renzo is the weakest? Okay. I might be mistaking that part of it. All right, we are definitely not going to fight this guy with Renzo, though. That's for sure. Yeah, I think he definitely takes the most damage. That's for sure. This guy is the boss who probably gives me the most trouble. Okay, I did hit him with that claw, so now let's switch to Bimmy, and carefully try and use the nunchucks on this guy. Wait. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay, I don't want to risk Billy dying. I wonder, I'm going to try something here. Jeez. Are you just going to duck all of them? You love to see it. Nice. At least I didn't lose anyone. Stunlocking Arnold. All right, we definitely want to go back to Billy here. And just spam our spin kicks here over on the side. Nice. Yeah, shurikens don't actually do that much damage, but I was like, okay, because getting close to Arnold there is really dangerous. Like you saw what happened with Billy and with Chin. And so I was like, okay, how can I fight this guy from a range? And like the shurikens don't do as much damage, but I did get him into that stun lock pattern, so it was all worth it. And yes, you're right. I think this P is their strength stat, and so yeah, you're right. Renzo's is the weakest for sure. So what I want to do here is I want to do the platforming as Renzo. And I hope I don't mess this up, because sometimes I go into a dash here. No, God. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can just walk down. But that's the only platforming that you have to do in this game. So not terrible. Not terrible. Especially compared to, oh no, sorry. There is another platforming thing later, which is worse, actually. I forgot. Oh boy, so I have that one to look forward to. And here you have no, oh yeah, you do have up and down movement here. Never mind, I'm dumb. For whatever reason, I thought that was just solid ground. Like straight plane, but it certainly is not. Okay. So we can just do our classic stuff here. Oh, look at this fancy kick. That sliding kick. Woo! He just goes like sliding across the entire screen with that thing. Ah, he caught me with it. Caught me with that in here as well. All right, get closer, get closer. Okay. Yeah, you really do kind of gotta watch where your position is in relation to any given enemy, because... And if they do one of those dual attacks, like while you're up in the air, you're just kind of... Not much you can do about that. If they get it off, they get it off, and that's about it. The head flip? Is that even in this game? I know it's in Double Dragon 2, or sorry, Double Dragon 3 arcade. Okay, I believe this is the terrible, terrible part. Which I am like... holding my breath for. God damn it. Oh god, I forgot there were guys at CAD! Oh no. This is, I gotta switch away from Billy. Okay, let's see. Best one to go with here might be him. Okay. Yeah, where's Sonny when you need him? It's not great that I lost Billy there. Okay, so if I remember correctly, I have this in notes, and God, I hope I don't screw this up, but I'm going to save state it because there's a good chance I will. Okay, good. All right. Drop. Glitch! You can just hold... I'm going to switch off of Billy so I don't get him killed. Yeah, you can just hold right off of that platform. I think it only works if you're Billy. And the game just corrects it for you. So, fun. Okay. Good. Okay, I think here we're just gonna... Let's see. Yeah, we're just gonna stay with him for now. Well, actually, did we have ninjas running in there? Is that what I saw? Or no, we didn't. Yeah, these guys, I think I would rather have Renzo's jumping kick in there for them. Slowly but surely go through these guys if I can. I did not mean to do that. Oh god, okay. Why must you duck? Why must you duck under my thing? Oh god. No! No! And it crashed again. Good thing I did a relatively recent save state. Let's see here. Yep. Okay, this time the program just straight up froze, which is fun. Let's see. One more time. Yeah, I think this is the only one that RetroArch does this for. I've never really run into this with another game. So it must be something about this ROM that's going around, that's been going around, where it's not really like dumped correctly or something, would be my guess. I think my last save state was not, could have very well been on track for a 1 credit clear there, so it's kind of up to you all to decide whether it could still count or not, I suppose. Let's go back to Renzo. And back to this. We'll just make a save state here in this room. Good. Oh, that's interesting. He got it right as he woke up. Okay. Done. Quit picking up your knives now. We're done with that. No more knives. I hate it when you duck. And I wish you would stop. No, no. Nice, hit both of them. They just keep coming. I mean, I have the latest Messen core installed on there. I keep my stuff pretty up to date. Yeah, this is... I forgot how long this level is, and this is really not a great place to have Billy dead at, to be honest. The mummies. So here's what I usually do for the mummies on this one. It's kind of similar. Oh yeah, I forgot I have actually these guys first. It's just as well that I switched to Chin for them. Come on, I would like you guys both to be on the same side. Thank you very much. Please and thank you. No jumping off the walls for you, sir. Nope. For God's sake. Okay. No more ninjas, please. Please. Ha. Renegade 3 is strange, bet. Well, you gotta keep in mind that the Renegade series sort of went outside of Technos' hands. Like, those were done by, like, European developers and things like this. So, there's that part to consider. Alright, I've got a barely alive Bimmy. It says, she who enters the tomb carrying less than all 4 stones will be turned to dust. You see, in her haste to obtain power, Hideko made a mistake that cost her her life. I don't believe this pop-up happens in the Japanese version. So you gotta walk away from the mummy, and then you gotta do jump kicks. Otherwise, they'll duck if you do them head on. But if you're facing away and you turn around and do them, you'll hit the mummy. Ooh! Oh god, oh god! Unless, of course, you mess it up like I did this there. Yep, and it's like a guaranteed grab, so this is not looking good, to be honest. Oh, okay, you can do it like that. All right, that's how you save it. All right, mummy number 1. Still not looking great, because I do not get a heal. Oh, God. This is not gonna work. I don't have enough health for Cleopatra, I'm afraid. And with as inconsistent as I am at Cleopatra... Nope, that's Chin dead. Okay. I don't even know what to do against these guys without Chin, to be honest. I'm gonna... Hold on. I know there goes the 1cc, but, I don't think I actually even knew the strats. To do it, without Chin. I may have, unfortunately, locked myself into a bit of an unwinnable situation here with the amount of health that I have, but we'll just have to see how it goes. No, just jump. What I'll do if this doesn't work out, I will switch over to the Japanese ROM where I actually have save states, and I'll show that last fight. Because I think my Egypt is just a little too inconsistent here. I did pretty darn well throughout the rest of the game, though, so I'm pretty happy with myself, ultimately. Just the number of enemies is so much more reasonable in the Japanese version. It's still pretty unreasonable, ultimately, but it's better. And that extra health you get just really makes a lot of difference. Alright, here we go. Oh, Renegade in the arcade and you couldn't get past the first stage? Oh, I got a video on how you can 1 credit clear Renegade. That's a very doable game. If you know what you're doing. All right, let's see. I've definitely gotten the 1 credit clear on Renegade. I didn't manage to do it when I streamed it, because that final level is a bit of a can be a bit of a pain, and a lot of it is up to luck, to be honest. Oh well, yeah. If you were 6, then yeah, no wonder. Oops. Yeah, NES game is a little bit of a different beast. 3 Sacred Stone. You must get the 4th to control the world. Yes, and we're gonna get your thing. I love Chin's, like, his pose, where he's just flexing. Yes. Alright. No! That's the wrong input. Mummy number 1. That went much more smoothly, didn't it? You can also do it slightly from off-axis, and you won't have a problem. Yeah, the weird thing about Renegade on the NES really just comes down to its weird maze parts, right? Like, you gotta know what doors to go through in what order to not just loop through that last level forever. So that part's a little strange. I guess that was just kind of in the water at the time to, like, put that kind of nonsense in an NES game or something. I don't love those parts of it. I won't lie. Because to me, that's not really what Renegade is, but... Well, there's that. Okay. Here's our friend Cleopatra. Her tactic is very different in this version compared to what it was in the arcade version. She still does her weird, like, blowback thing, as you can see, which she's chaining now and completely keeping me stun locked with. Yeah, this is the thing where you have to, like... Oh, what am I doing? I need to switch weapons. Yeah, she's not, that's right. She's not called Cleopatra. I forgot. No. We want to do Iron Claw. Nope. And she just turns into the snake thing, and this fucking sucks. I'm not gonna lie, like, I think this fight really sucks. I might switch over to the Japanese save state for this, because we'll see, though. We're gonna try. I have no characters with, like, no health at this point, though. Chin died. Billy has 1 health. Ronzo is almost dead. So we're just in kind of a bad state here. No, I'm... Ooh, okay. Oof. Ah! Okay. All right, Bimmy. It's all you, buddy. Ah, there it goes. All right, let me switch over to the one where I have a little bit more health. Oh, actually, I can continue? This is going to be from the beginning of the stage, though, right? All right, hold on. We're gonna... Let me load up the... I actually did better than I thought. I just need a little more work on Egypt, but let me load the Japanese one, which I have save stated. And my characters are in a little bit better of a place there. All right, so basically we switch to the Iron Claw with Chen. And she hit me there. And basically you unload as much of your Iron Claw as you can there. Okay. And now, don't let me guess, you're gonna power wave me now. Fucking Cleopatra, and look at this shit! Alright, I'm gonna switch out Chin for now. Because I think all of my dudes have... And spin kick. Actually, no, what am I doing? I should switch to his nunchucks to do more damage. And sometimes she'll duck the nunchucks, just like some of the bosses will. So, it happens. One more nunchuck. Boom. And Ronzo's weapon doesn't really do anything good here for the most part, so... Oh, wait, how did that... Wait, what? 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 What happened? Wow! Okay. This is kind of amazing. I'm clipping that. Okay. Yeah, I'm... No! I can't! I can only pause! I can't hit select! Select does nothing! Oh my god, it is like the wall glitch. Oh, wow. Okay. She launched me straight up into the air. I know. Okay, I did nearly have her. I'm gonna... Wow. That is just... I'm really glad I saw that, though, to be honest. Okay, what are you... All right, you're just gonna... Fine. Alright. That's Chin. Or Chin, sorry. Nunchucks. Oh, wow, you got me with that fireball. There's Billy. Billy dead. Okay, I'm actually gonna just do bare hands Chin for now. That was bad, actually. My movement there was bad. And now she's just into... Now I'm like messing up my movement here. You gotta wait a second before you start moving. Yep. I waited at the wrong spot. And then the thing I hate is sometimes you end up doing that. His spin kick lands. I mean, I guess maybe I just won't use that. Maybe I'll just use this one. This one actually seems better. I can do it. I know I can do it. I've done it before, but believe it or not, I'm almost like more consistent with Cleopatra on the arcade version than I am on this one. Like, just something just always ends up happening here. All right, Billy. What? What? No. I did not mean to dash there. I, like, panicked. Maybe when you do the nunchuck too early, she reacts with that fireball, maybe? She's walking into Chin's kicks very nicely, though, I will say. Yeah, I think... doing snake. Come on. Come on. You're just putting off the inevitable, Cleopatra. We all know it. There we go. So in the Japanese version, the end of the story is actually the same thing. They use the treasure to, you know, help poor children. Shin goes back to China. Ranzo goes back to the Koga Ninja. And we've got the Rosetta Stones, and they have the power to change the world, just like in the ending to the arcade game. I think with a little more practice on Egypt, I can probably 1 credit clear that one. It seems within my reach. It's another one of those where it has a reputation for being notoriously difficult, and it is. But like, if you know what to do, it's surmountable, right? All right. And so now... Oh, hold on. We got to do the thing. Hold on. We'll do the thing. Even though Chibi UFO is not here to demand it. Famitsu check! There we go. So now, because this was a console game, we can't look at Game Machine, obviously, right? So actually, it's funny because we looked at this very same issue last week, because we were looking at it for R-Type on the Game Boy. And so we noted at that time that there was also Double Dragon 3. And so here it is, right in the very same issue. So we won't actually spend too much time looking at these, because we've got, your Battle Golfer UEs and things like this that we looked at last week. So not really any new information, I'm afraid. Let's see here. So, Double Dragon 3 got, Double Dragon 3 on the Famicom, I should say, got a 4, 7, a 6, and a 4. On one hand, 7 is very good for a game like this in 1991. 4 is pretty low. So let's see who our reviewers were who gave it this. So we had the 7 was, I believe, our second one. So that was Mizuno Tencho. And then I think Tofuya Famibo and good old Taco X are the ones that gave it 4s. And Morishita Mariko gave it a 6. So let's take a look at the 7 first, shall we? Hold on, let me take the stick off my lap. Yes, I was playing all that with a stick and not an NES pad, because this is, and well, honestly, even if I was playing that on a real Famicom, a real NES, I have sticks that will hook up to that. So I could have done it even on real hardware. But any game like that, give me a stick. I don't want to use the NES pad if I don't have to, if it makes sense, right? Anyway, so Mizuno Tencho's 7 for Double Dragon 3. So Dabudora, that first of all, I'll point out that they're using the old, Japanese, we love to abbreviate things, right? Dabudora, 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 is what he calls it. So it says it's the third installment of the big hit in America Double Dragon series. So I want to call attention to the fact that by 1991, it's specifically they're shouting out that this is a big hit in America. I don't know if I'm reading into that too much, saying like, oh, we don't really care about it in Japan, but in America, they sure like it. Anyway, whatever he's implying or not implying by that, right? And I really just realized I forgot to change the marquee. Oh, well. We're done now, so it doesn't matter. So and he says, it seems like it's gotten even more difficult this time around. Now, let's reflect on this. So let's think about these NES games, right? I feel like, especially if you played it on the highest difficulty, Double Dragon 2 was fairly challenging. Is Double Dragon 3 more difficult? Probably. I mean, again, you had like a lot more move options in that NES version of Double Dragon 2, so you didn't always have to do things one way. And this one you kind of do. Like if you're not using that spin kick or like Chin's punches or whatever, like you kind of got nothing. You kind of got no good tools. So in that way, and the fact that it doesn't give you continues right out the gate, probably, yeah, it probably is more difficult. Yeah, until the later levels for sure. It gets pretty rough in the later levels. It was the 7th best selling console game in the United States in February 1991. Yeah, I'm not shocked that Acclaim overestimated demand. You'd argue 3 is easier. Yeah, I was kind of going over that in my head, and I'm still not really convinced. I was trying to talk myself through it, but I do think there might be something to say for 3 being a little bit easier than NES 2 was. So we'll kind of leave that out there for everybody to draw their own line. But yeah, about Acclaim overestimating the demand for 3. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember this, but the advertising for Double Dragon 2 was everywhere. It was in comic books. I believe I saw television commercials for it. It was in magazines. Like, they really knew what they had with Double Dragon 2, and they really pushed it. And it was very popular. And so I think they were like, oh, we're just going to ride that train. Double Dragon 2, why wouldn't people buy Double Dragon 3? In wrestling, they had ads for it in wrestling. I would have been watching wrestling around that time, so maybe I did too. Trade West and American Technos even planned to publish the NES Double Dragon 3, hence the unused logos found in the ROM before Acclaim got the rights. Anyway, continuing on with this review, he was basically saying that, like, I just kept dying on the first screen, in the first level. So I think that's probably a pretty common thing for Double Dragon 3. Like, how the hell can I get past the first level? And that's probably because you're not spin kicking, but let's see here. So continuing on from the first and second game, sorry. So if people who are playing this after the first and the second game, apart from those people, rather, people who are playing this game for the first time, like no prior Double Dragon experience, this might be too difficult for them. And this is the person who gave it a 7. It's interesting that he gave it a 7 and, like, basically just kind of said bad things about it. D-Slug did an amazing I'm trying to, stuff I've looked at it as booths. Have I noticed the Double Dragon 2 one? Does he usually put that up, it shows, or is it just something he kind of has in the back catalog? I'll have to look for that. Well, he might have been, but I don't know how. Well, the editors of Famitsu, honestly, they probably did have some kind of insight into the fact that they were making games more difficult for America, but definitely the version he was reviewing here would have been the Japanese version. I don't think they would have been taking the US one into account at this point, but who knows? All right, let's look at some of these 4s. Let's look at Taco X. We all love seeing Taco X tear things apart, right? Let's see. Even Taco X is saying, like, yeah, playing this one player basically results in nothing but game overs, and it's just a little bit too much. Okay, it was an official commercial piece. Okay, did he do it for, like, a Double Dragon collection or something like that? That's cool that he got to do it for an official thing, though. And he was like, I couldn't really make any progress. It'll be fine for people who are good at this sort of thing, but people who aren't will just be, basically never be able to get past it in their entire lives, never be able to clear it in their entire lives, get anywhere in it in their entire lives. Oh, okay. And he's saying, furthermore, the sense of characters, so like the character selection and how they draw the characters and things like this, are just way worse than they were in the previous games. I think he really is probably more talking about the enemies and how they all just sort of look very generic and like it's the same pool of them. I think I agree with him there. I think the design is really pretty uninspired for this compared to some of the previous ones. Let's see. Yeah, he says, and it just kind of makes me feel sad. Which is, that's a valid way of looking at it, I suppose. Yeah, that's so. Let's I was going to ask, what have we learned here? But I guess I'm curious now that everybody's seen the arcade version of 3 and the NES and the Famicom version of 3, and knowing that conventional wisdom says that, well, first of all, what do you all yeah. I thank you for bringing that up, Starlight Midori Land. I didn't watch every episode of Jeff Gersman's multiple year-long project of ranking every NES game. 272, that would have been what? Maybe somewhere in the middle of the list? Does he still have that site up? NES.science. Or was that? No, it was 8bit.science, right? If I could spell science right, that would help. 8bit.science. Okay, maybe it's not. It's not up there anymore. But I think that that list would have been into the 400s, right? 8bit Nintendo.science. My fault. Double Dragon 3. Yep, it is 272 out of 751. So like, yeah, I mean, if you, so I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link into chat here so everyone can see it. This is Jeff Gersman's site for a project that he did. Actually, you know what? I can probably just turn my browser on here. Give me a second. Let me see if I can make that work. Nah. Here we go. I think my cropping is a little bit weird, so never mind. I'll let y'all check that out on your own. I'd have to fool around with a few too many things here in real time. But like, for example, it placed just below the NES port of like Karate Champ and tennis. And so like, it's, you know, this is obviously his list, right? And it's under Donkey Kong 3 and things like this. But like, I don't know if I 100% agree with where he put it, but like he did put it under, so the original, Double Dragon 1 is at 85. Double Dragon 2 is at 92. So like both of these being above Double Dragon 3, I feel like is probably right. But yeah, anyway, so the question I want to pose a couple questions before we wrap up for the evening here. First of all, which one of these do you think is more maligned? Do you think the arcade version or the NES version has more shit talked about it? Maybe it's just the circles I run in, but I almost kind of feel like the arcade version gets more flack. The NES version definitely gets flack, don't get me wrong, but I think the arcade version gets more. Maybe others would disagree with me. And like I said, maybe it's more the circles that I run in that make me think this. But I feel like the arcade version gets more heat. And then the next question becomes, are either of those games as bad as the general opinion would have you believe? And in fact, maybe even, are they good? Is a more interesting question. I think I said this in the Scrolling Down the Belt episode of Double Dragon 3, and there were some people in the comments who were like, you are insane and your opinion is just wrong. But thinking about this now, in terms of the arcade game, at the time I said I would probably take Double Dragon 3 arcade over Double Dragon 2 arcade. My reasoning for that is that Double Dragon 2 arcade is just kind of like, what if Double Dragon 1 but more, and the timer is more severe, and we took away the most powerful move in the game. But I don't think Double Dragon 2, the arcade version, was very additive to that original formula, personally. I didn't love a lot of the things it did. And again, I stand by the theory that when people think about Double Dragon 2, they're mostly thinking of things that happened in the NES version. So honestly, Double Dragon 1 is still my favorite arcade Double Dragon game, bar none. But I still think I'd take 3 over 2. It's just so strange. Like the movement is strange. The plot is strange. I don't know. I don't know what people here think, and if they think that's an absolutely insane thing to say. But like, it's not an amazing game all in all. But like, I don't know. I think it's got some stuff going on for it. It's just so weird the way the movement works, the way that it just goes supernatural all of a sudden at the end, and you end up fighting mummies and Cleopatra. Like, I dig it. The NES one, I think, is less clear-cut of a case because that NES 2 game was so good, apart from the platforming, that it just casts a lot larger of a shadow, I think, over something like 3, which I do not think NES 3 is bad, and I think it's fun when you fall into its rhythms and you kind of, again, know what it expects of you. But I can't deny that it's very repetitive, right? It's just like you're in a room, guys come running in at you, and you wait till guys go away, and then you move on until more guys come at you. Again, if you want to be pedantic, you could just be like, well, that's just every beat 'em up. But it's the presentation, right? It's the flow of it. Like Double Dragon 2 had a better flow to it than Double Dragon 3 does. Even though I do really think the character switching thing is interesting and the weapon switching thing is really interesting, though. That's the thing, right? Those are cool ideas. I just don't think the settings supported it being as good of a game as it could have been. But that said, I do think people look down on it too much. Like I do think there is some fun to be had there. There's like a zen to it, right? Of just being able to like do the spin kick. Which again, some people can argue, oh, it's not enough move variety. I don't want to just do the same move over and over again. And fair enough, if that's your argument, I get it. But I think it tried some really interesting things and it took some big swings, even in a way that 2 didn't. Even though 2 is probably, many people I think would consider it better. 3 is a little uninspired compared to the others in some ways. 2 and 3 are kind of tied for me personally because they both have pros and cons. That's a good way of looking at it. That's a really good way of looking at it. I think, yeah, ranking the arcade games for me is easy. It's 1, 3, 2. No, I don't even really have to think about it that hard. NES, and how much of this is nostalgia, it's really hard to say, right? But I think for NES, I'd probably do 1, 2, 3, but there's not a huge gap for me between 2 and 3 either. Like it's not a river, right? Like they're not that far away. Cause I really, playing these for Scrolling Down the Belt and playing these again recently, like I really came to appreciate those games for what they are. And I think their biggest problems, honestly, for both the arcade and at home is they were a little late for the platform they were on. Like the beat 'em up was not over in the arcade, but it was kind of, it was getting there, right? We were on the cusp of Street Fighter 2, which was going to kind of change everything and make people not really want to care about beat 'em ups in arcades so much anymore. You saw that almost immediately when Street Fighter 2 happened. But home consoles, it took a little bit longer, right? But that said, like people Because this was what? This was February 1991 in both regions. And when did the Super NES come out? The Super NES came out in North America August 1991. So this would have been pre Super NES. So I guess maybe the I'd rather see this stuff on the Super NES or whatever hadn't really quite kicked in yet. But it would, right? Like people would see beat 'em ups coming out on the Famicom or NES. One of the reviewers in Famitsu even said it. There's just so many of these games on the Famicom that I can't, you know? So I think there was a little bit of that in the water too at that particular time. 2 is so close to being amazing, but I agree. If 2 had a fraction of that platforming or none of the platforming, it would be an amazing game. And the platforming kind of knocks it down to like good, very good, I think. Yeah, if 3 made a few adjustments to damage and difficulty. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you play the Japanese version, it's a much sweeter spot. They give you more health and there's just less enemies. I don't know that the damage numbers are different, but giving you that extra health and giving you slightly fewer enemies really do make a big difference for how much of a slog parts of that game end up seeming like. So like I would say, you know, if anybody is emulating this and playing it, like just play the Japanese version. Like you're gonna have a slightly better time with it. And we all know this is one of those cases where they just ratcheted up the difficulty for rentals anyway, right? So like who cares? Did they not do a Double Dragon collection? I feel like they have. It might not have been very thorough, and I don't have it. So I don't know if it's. Oh yeah, but the Kuni. Yeah, there's a Kuni. Yeah, the way they did those collections is kind of strange. I was never really able to figure out like what is on what. Like sometimes they're mixing them up with Kunio because Techno's Japan, and sometimes they're not. But honestly, unless those collections have something really interesting to offer, I don't bother because some of them are kind of poorly done. Not all of them, but some of them. And, you know, there's emulation, which is pretty good these days, except for Double Dragon 3 Crash and RetroArch, I guess. Oh, boy, oh, boy. All right. Well, that's Double Dragon 3. I think we can all agree that while it may not be the best Double Dragon game, it's not as bad as people say it is. So I don't know if we gave it much of a trial, but I think it seems like maybe we changed some people's minds here today. So you know what? I'll take it. Yeah, Double Dragon Dodgeball you got with Double Dragon the new one, right? The revival one or whatever. I have that on Steam, so maybe when I stream that, we'll also do Double Dragon Dodgeball as well. All right. I am going to call it there for tonight, folks. So, as usual, we'll be back on Thursday. And on Thursday, you know what time it is. It's time for more Fist of the North Star. We got more of those games coming up. We got more of those games coming up for the foreseeable future, and we're actually going to get into the first RPG probably next time too, for good or for bad. Hokuto Thursday, is that what I should start calling it? Maybe I should. And yeah, we've got the last Famicom NES action game. We got the Mega Drive game, which I'm going to be interested to see what folks have to say about that one after the banger that was Black Belt on the SMS. And then we're going to have a Famicom RPG. So come on back for that. Come on back for the... And we'll do something else next Tuesday too, but I need more time to think about that. Oh, yes. I don't know if I've actually played... What was it? Is it Double Dragon 5 that is the Terrible, terrible fighting game on the Super Nintendo. I don't think I've ever played that. I like that Neo Geo game quite a bit. And I don't think I've played Rage of the Dragons either. So yep, I'll get around to those someday for sure. Because I think that's a pretty underexplored part of the Double Dragon franchise. I feel like most people just kind of go right past those and look at the beat 'em ups and, you know, don't give those the time of day. Yeah, we'll get there someday. But yeah, come on back Thursday for more Hokuto no Ken, and we'll have some more fun. So thanks for tuning in as usual, everybody, and until next time, bye-bye.